All right, let's watch this.
Okay.
My fellow humans,
I keep
I am
hitting that by
Benjamin
accident.
Fulford, spokesperson.
Hold on, it's not even capturing. There we go.
For the White Dragon Society. With me here is Chodoin Daikaku. He's the head of the world's martial arts societies, and if necessary, and in an emergency, he can summon up an army of 200 million people worldwide.
Here's a link to the
Here on my
video.
right is Alexander
You want to check it out?
Romanov, who is a grandmaster of an Illuminati group that claims to have started the French, Russian, and American revolutions. As you may know, there has been a battle going on over the future of this planet.
Back in May of 2021, I was exposed to a bizarre conspiracy community that makes flat earthers look reasonable by comparison. Unlike a lot of conspiracy theories, which tend to have a small degree of truth, which is often extrapolated into outright fiction, this conspiracy theory is based on nothing but pure fantasy.
I say Sylvia.
Imagine if someone told you they lived out
Those
the
guys'
plot of
videos
the
are
movie
great.
Total Recall. That they thought they were living a regular life until one day they recovered memories of being a secret agent fighting an evil organization on Mars. Now, what if they also said that they were a space marine who fought insectoid and reptilian extraterrestrials on different planets? And finally, what if they capped it all off by claiming to be G.I. Joe?
It's just 40K.
If you ever encounter someone like this, it's possible that they believe that they are part of the secret space program. The secret space program is a conspiracy theory which has grown in popularity within the past decade. There are YouTube channels, social media groups, and entire conferences dedicated to a shared belief that humanity has already traveled to the far reaches of space.
Hell
Now,
yeah.
a shadowy world government has been hiding this truth from the masses. A lot of the people who buy into this theory also believe that they were abducted and forced to serve in the secret space program against their will. This isn't a
Yeah, I love that movie.
or an ARG or a giant sci-fi influenced role-playing game. No. These people genuinely believe this stuff, and their community is getting bigger by the day. I wouldn't be surprised if in a few years, this overtakes Flat Earth as the most ridiculed conspiracy theory by the general population.
It's like the
And that's
main
because
character
it's
syndrome thing.
way crazier. I was put onto this by a friend of mine who goes by the handle Vapes for Christ. Here's us talking about it on a Discord call.
So, I was listening to this podcast called The Unexplained of Howard Hughes. It's basically like the UK's equivalent to Coast to Coast. It's on the radio as well. And they just had this one guy in there I saw. His name was Captain Randy Kramer. He was saying stuff like he was actually a genetically enhanced super soldier made in a lab in the late 1960s for a secret space program where he'd be battling aliens on Mars, the Mars Defense Force. And the more I looked into this, he's not
battling
alone. There's,
aliens.
a whole community of people that claim they've also been part of this program.
Randy lived on the planet Mars for 17 years, where he said there were approximately 6 to 7 million people living, including various CT races.
So I was genetically engineered from the ground up, tinkered with
From
some
the ground up.
hybridized DNA.
Built me up from the ground
faster,
up.
Stronger for soldiering abilities. Where I spent a little over 17 years in the MDF, which is the Mars Defense Force. I was in the infantry there on the ground, mostly scuffling with indigenous reptoids and indigenous insectoids territorially, mostly really to test military equipment.
There are a lot of interesting characters in the SSP/Super Soldier world, such
Yeah, what
as
is up-
Dwight Eisenhower's great-granddaughter,
What?
Laura Magdalene Eisenhower, James Casbolt, a self-proclaimed former MI6 agent who's now in prison for trying to blackmail 2 million euros out of his Supercenter heiress ex-wife, Haley Major, and Mark Richards, who's also in prison, not for blackmail this time, but instead for robbery and murder in the mid-1980s. He was also bizarrely plotting a paramilitary takeover of his county in order to turn it into King Arthur's court with himself as a king. Yeah, that's a thing. Within the community, these people are known as whistleblowers, individuals who risk their lives to disclose sensitive information about their time in the secret space program. Initially, I was struck by how these so-called whistleblowers spoke with such earnestness while claiming to have lived out grand stories akin to Z-grade science fiction. And more strikingly, was how many people seemed to believe them.
There is a secret space program which is funded by our taxes. We pay for our own enslavement. There are factions in space. They have anti-gravity propulsion systems. Anything you can think of, time travel, manipulating consciousness, it's all real.
When I first started looking to this community, I considered making a video about it, but I scrapped the idea fairly quickly. At the time, my idea was to make a video simply
His other
exploring
videos are really good too. I gotta
whistleblowers
watch
and
all of them
conspiracy
now.
theory,
I've seen a few of
I decided
them.
against it as I was more in the mood to work on something more ambitious and grand. So I set it aside and worked on a handful of other projects instead. However, there was a part of me that kept thinking about it. I found myself watching SSP videos during my free time, reading articles and browsing their community's forums. Eventually, it became my favorite pastime, and it was something that I was doing every single day. And what really intrigued me about it was...
I like his
it just
keyboard too.
kept
It's like
getting crazier and crazier. And that's how I found my new favorite YouTube channel,
Old,
Super Soldier
but
Talk,
new.
which is run by a guy named James Rink. He's been doing it for 13 years, and he's been a hardcore believer of it for
Look at those
even longer
aliens.
than that. I found myself really drawn to James, especially his demeanor. I don't mean to ridicule the guy, but I genuinely just find him amusing.
So I am a super soldier. I've been involved in the secret space program for at least 330 years. I say that with a lot of hesitation because some of these projects, they have time compression zones where you're outside of time and the time is going by a little bit slower than the rest of reality. They use
I don't know if I can
different cloning
show the
bodies, different
3D
training
naked
missions
guys.
with zombies and vampires.
Even though they're not.
There was one kid that turned into a turtle. There was another
But
female that turned into an eagle, and that was used for surveillance. I myself was a blue wolf. There was another being that turned
Blue
into
wolf.
a cat.
Others are cyborgs and
Yeah, time
off-world
soldiers.
medics.
Oh, I mean, I started working on Mars. I was looking for bugs, they call them, mostly mantises. Mantises were really good at genetics, and they wanted like information from them and stuff like that, genetic information.
And there's
yeah,
even
they're
ships.
animorphs.
Both dolphins and hawks, we can go through walls, go through portals. We can echolocate, but some people call it bilocation.
I quickly realized that most of the people James
Dude, it must be
interviews
kind of
don't
cool to
actually
be able
have
to
any
like
celebrity
completely
status within the
disregard
secret space
reality and
program
like get into
community.
something like
They're nothing
that.
like Corey Good,
Like,
who
just
sells
like
out venues for
go.
his talks.
Just believe in
Instead, they are
animorphs.
just average
Like, I used to
believers
do that
in
when I was
SSP
like fucking 10
conspiracy
years
who
old.
somehow got connected with James and were subsequently invited onto
I used
the
to think
show.
Star Wars
Upon
was real.
realizing this, I started to formulate a plan. What if I made up a story about being in the secret space program and get onto James' show and share it with his community? And that's how I finally found an angle that compelled me enough to make a video about this topic. And the angle was to become a secret space program whistleblower myself.
Let's rock.
Yeah, I've actually been to Mars.
So if my goal still sounds too vague to you, I set up a criteria for how I was going to accomplish it. A set of rules, if you will. 1. Make up a compelling story about my time in the secret space program, which has to follow the established lore of the conspiracy. 2. Get onto a major platform within the community as a whistleblower and share my experience. I developed this criteria after thinking what's required to become an SSP whistleblower. Obviously, evidence of being in the secret space program isn't necessary at all. All that's needed is a story which follows the lore, and, after that, I just have to appear on a major platform and share it. I decided that I would aim to appear on James's channel. Like I said, it's the most
It's just
popular YouTube
RPing.
channel in the
It's
community.
very
and
serious
it's even
RP.
had the illustrious Captain Randy Kramer on it twice. Unlike Captain Randy Kramer, or Corey Good, I was unlikely to get my own show on Gaia.com. So I settled for a more manageable, but still difficult task. To increase the difficulty, I chose not to use my own YouTube channel as a way to influence my way onto the show. Therefore, I needed to find a way to ingratiate myself with James, and hope that he decided to invite me on as a guest himself. Before I did that, I needed to create a compelling story. In order to craft my narrative, I began to study the plethora of interviews available on Jay's channel, as well as the SSP lore extensively.
Okay, open up your textbooks, It's time for me to start explaining the lore behind the secret space program.
Hell yeah.
Now, I'm going to try and do this as fast as possible. Okay, so it started right before World War II when the Nazis were interested in mysticism.
Before
Of
World War
course.
II, the Nazis, who were interested in mysticism and alternative views,
Just
searched the
some
planet
Indiana
for fantastical
Jones.
powers. They found Maria
Some
Orsak,
Indiana
a
Jones
medium
clips.
and leader of the Vril Society, who channeled Nordic and Draco reptilians who offered the Nazis the semantics behind
Fucking
anti-gravity
Nazis.
technology and UFOs. The Draco reptilians told the Nazis about ancient alien
I
technology.
hate that fucking
hidden in
lizard man
Antarctica,
picture.
And in 1938, the
I've
Nazis
seen these
traveled there.
stock
With
pictures.
this newfound tech,
footage
the
before.
Nazis created the Die Glocke, aka the Bell, which was capable of space and time travel. In 1942, the Nazis were already in space. There
What is
they
that
built a
from,
base on the dark side of the moon.
what's
And
that
by
movie?
1950, the Nazis were on Mars. Despite having access to this advanced
Iron
alien
Sky
tech,
or whatever?
the
What
Germans
is this?
Still lost World War II.
Where the
because
Nazis live on the
apparently
moon?
The Germans who
Iron
possessed
Sky.
the technology did not agree with Hitler's regime. So
What
there
the
was a split.
fuck?
The new Schwabenlanders didn't want to support Hitler at the end of the war because they
It's
they
like
considered
some
him
fucking-
insane and the final solution. So there was already a split.
In SSP lore,
Like
the Nazis
sci-fi
capable of space and
fantasy
time
art.
travel became the Fourth Reich, and they pissed off to Antarctica and space while refusing to provide any support to the Third Reich Nazis during the war. Anyway, the evil globalists, i.e. the Cabal and the Illuminati or something, engaged in a Cold War against the Space Germans. Meanwhile, the Space Germans were also fighting the Draco reptilians and various alien life forms in space. The Antarctic/Space Germans would be responsible for abducting.
Is this
people
all
to
just
serve
clips
in
from
joint
Iron
black
Sky?
projects between themselves, the Cabal, aliens, and pretty much anybody.
I know,
within
I
the
was
power
surprised
realm.
I'd never heard of
This
this.
was the beginning of the secret space program. By the 1960s, the Space Germans
It
created
is Iron
Nachtwaffen,
Sky?
aka Dark Fleet, and began
Dark
an
Fleet?
aggressive
What the
expansion
fuck?
out into the solar system, setting up bases on moons around Saturn, the Kuiper belts, and etc. Capable of time travel, the Space Germans also traveled back in time to settle on planets around the galaxy.
Now there's 3 billion people, humans
my
that live off-world
God.
under various German SSP groups protected by the Nachtwaffen, translated meaning Dark Fleet.
People who
Those
are
ships
forced into
are
the
elite
secret space
dangerous.
program are called MyLabs, aka
What?
military abductees. These people are chosen because they are special and often because they are psychically gifted in some way. Around 30% of MyLabs are SSP officers, and 70% of them are used as slaves. Individuals are abducted and could be used as just about anything in the SSP. Super soldiers, pilots, remote viewers, assassins, scientists, forced laborers, and even slaves.
The
So,
fuck?
there you have it. That's a basic breakdown of the SSP lore. After spending months putting together my very own secret space program whistleblower testimony, I felt like I was ready to share it on James' show. The only problem was that he wasn't replying to any of my emails.
Of course.
But then I found an in. On his website was a page called My Lab Recovery Network, which was a list of people offering services to help
Oh my
recover secret
God.
space program related memories. At the top of the list was
You could
James,
actually pay to
and
have
for
your
$200
identity recovered.
USD, I could book a guided meditation regression
Those
session,
dice?
which is exactly what I did at 6 a.m. on September 1st, 2021. Within 23 minutes, James got back to me with an email which read, "Hi Oki, I'm booked till the first week in October. Can I put you down for Tuesday, October 12 at an afternoon slot or evening time slot, EST zone? Which would you prefer?"
Yeah, what the fuck?
By booking a hypnosis session with him, at least I had an in. It didn't mean that I would be invited onto his show, but it was a start. In order to ensure that I can get onto his show, I fine-tuned my story. I knew that my only option was to put on such a performance that it completely knocks him off of his feet. So for the next 41 days, I hunkered down and recited my script while polishing it all into something truly compelling. And finally, the day arrived. At 1 p.m. EST on October 12th, I got the Zoom call invite from James that I was waiting for. Our session lasted for 2 hours and 15 minutes. The results of the session exceeded my expectations.
He looks like he's trying not to laugh so much.
What is your genetic background? Like what ET groups are you connected with?
Draco reptilian humanoid hybrid, and then I think I also got like Anunnaki.
Do you know who you might have been in a past life?
Have you heard like the Black Samurai Yasuke?
You were a samurai?
Yeah. Dude, hold on. I'll show you something. Check this out.
That's pretty dope. And I was a gladiator.
Oh no, that's awesome.
The goal here, I want us to take us into hyperspace. Let's put a gold shield of light around us So at this point,
Gold
we call upon
shield of
Ogi's
light
higher self
around
to
us.
override any kind of AI. Begin to relax your forehead and your cheeks, and you can breathe just fine in and out as the relaxation goes down into your legs. As you fly through the clouds, the puffy clouds, you may jump around a little bit. Your higher self already knows where to go, so go ahead when you're ready. Step on through the door, and without putting any kind of conscious thought into it, just imagine
not
what you
laughing.
think would be behind that door. So let's start with that, and tell me what you see.
I see Kevin Spacey.
Oh my
Paul
God.
Serene, he was on the governing council of the ICC. So his clone is Kevin Spacey.
We're in
What?
a gymnasium. It's me and at least 100 other. I think they're recruits.
Do you see anyone else there that you recognize?
I think I see the YouTuber Mr. Beast.
Today, we will be planting 20 million trees.
Okay, so they're probably programming him. So he's the guy.
He's trying so hard not to laugh.
Stuff on the videos.
Yeah.
They must have looked into his future, and okay, so
They
whatever
must have looked into his
whatever plans
future.
they had for him was all programming stuff.
Anyway, the session was a success. Such a success that I got what I wanted. James invited me onto his show. Then he mentioned that it would be a little while before he could have me on his show because he was going to attend a secret space program conference taking place in early November. Without a second thought, I said that I'd be there.
Do you want to come on my show to share some of your experiences?
Yeah, hell yeah. That'd be awesome.
If you're coming out to Vegas, I could, maybe give you 45 minutes.
So a few days later, I traveled to Las Vegas and landed at around 12 p.m. after a 4-hour plane ride.
He goes to Vegas for it? Oh my God.
I'm here in Las Vegas for Cosmic Consciousness in Disclosure 5D events.
Oh yeah, Night Docs
specifically
is there.
to meet some super soldiers. People who are part of this, who believe that they are part of the secret space program. This has been months in the making. Okay, this is gonna be fun, dude. I am so excited for this. Are you ready, Night Docs?
I'm as ready as I am gonna be, man. This is gonna be an exercise in patience for me.
The Golden Nugget.
The Golden Nugget. Right here. Here we are.
Hell yeah.
I guess we're gonna go learn how to.
I can't believe this is an actual conference.
And experience this up on the starship. I've been there several times. I spoke with the commander, the Arcturian commander, who I am connected to.
Imagine if that was your mom. Oh, you're going to a conference? Okay, Mom.
We left this base and we went to a separate one on the moon, and it was U.S. military personnel. And the next morning, they gave us a set of clothes to wear and put us on a larger craft and flew us to Mars. Flew out, we got away from the moon and immediately jumped to Mars.
Yes, I was talking about this concert, this Travis Scott concert.
Oh my God.
Where 800 people were injected with these drone mosquitoes. You know, you see.
And this would have been
wow,
before any of the other Travis Scott shit. That conference was like last year, early last year.
The conference was a pretty fun but disorganized event. The two workshops we were really looking forward to attending were How to Become a Jedi Warrior and
Oh my
Spoon
God.
Bending, Bring Your Own Spoon.
Tomorrow's gonna be a fun day because tomorrow we get to go to How to Become a Jedi Warrior.
I'm excited about that one.
That's gonna be amazing.
Unfortunately, when we showed up to the How to Become a Jedi Warrior workshop, no one was there, not even the speaker. So it was canceled.
Just got in here with no idea who.
Come on, it had to have been a joke that someone was like, yeah, it's a Jedi training conference.
So the best part tomorrow is we are gonna go to Quantum Spoon Bending, parentheses, bring your own spoons.
Sick.
Close parentheses.
And the quantum spoon bending lesson was underwhelming since, instead of
Spoon
learning how
kid.
to bend a spoon with our minds, we were instructed to physically do
Bend
it
the
with both
spoon.
hands.
BYOS. That's it. You got it.
But the conference was secondary to my ultimate goal, which was to meet James so he can interview me for his channel. It was
Holy
during a workshop
shit.
called My Life in the Secret Space Program that I
Oh, wait. Does this not look like
can interview me
Bizarro
for his
Reggie?
channel. It was during a workshop
Like Bizarro Evil Reggie?
called My Life in the Secret Space Program that I finally got to meet him. Honestly, I felt sort of starstruck. I asked him to sign my copy of his book, and we talked for a bit before the workshop started. While walking around the venue, I noticed that James had sent me a text inviting me to his hotel room for an interview. Suddenly, a wave of anticipation
If it
and
isn't
euphoria
magic,
washed
why
over
bother?
me. This was it. Finally, after several months, the
It's
moment
not
I was
super
waiting
soldiers.
for had arrived. I ran
Why
back to
bother?
the workshop room, found Night Dogs, and
Raji.
alerted him of the new development. We scrambled to get all of his equipment ready to film the interview and to get to Jay's hotel room as soon as possible. Time was of the essence. Therefore, being late was not an option. Night Dogs, who was behind me, was still trying to attach his camera to a gimbal, which would not fit. Watching the minutes go by was excruciating. Eventually, I told him to leave the camera unattached from the gimbal, and we raced towards the elevator, getting lost a couple times along the way. After an elevator ride that felt way longer than it should have, we rushed towards James' hotel room before realizing that we walked in the wrong direction once again. Then we beelined it in the opposite direction, and finally found James' room. I knocked. The time had finally come. James had his camera equipment set up in the corner of the hotel room. He instructed me to take a seat in front of his camera and microphone. I asked him if it was okay if Night Dogs filmed the interview, and he said it was fine. After a brief preliminary discussion, James started recording and we were underway. By then, any nervous anticipation I felt leading up to this face-to-face sit-down had completely dissipated. I was calm.
You
knowing
know
that I was
someone you
more
know
than
on
prepared to
Facebook
speak
is
about my time
a
in
super
the Secret
soldier.
Space program in a convincing manner. The interview lasted 1 hour, and here's what happened.
Okay, so my name is Oki. So it started from before I was even born, where they genetically enhanced my DNA. And by the time I was 6, I was put into a special program run by Monarch. I was under the direct
Monarch?
tutelage of Pulse Rain, Kevin Spacey's
Is that from
clone.
fucking
There
Venture
was
Brothers?
12 children who were trained.
Isn't Monarch
directly
from
under
fucking
him,
Godzilla?
including myself and the YouTuber Mr. Beast.
So, can you comment about what you, or maybe Mr. Beast, or maybe the people in your group were all being groomed for?
We were pretty much
fuck?
put in a top elite special program. They pretty much utilized every method they could to use MK Ultra programming and to create killing machines. And I was able to just look at a photo of a target and make their head explode. Because I mean, there was billions of dollars spent on each and every single one of us. I particularly liked my psionic katana. I liked my my 2 daggers.
I can't believe you got Mr. Beast
I had
on
a
it.
form of EMP that I could take out their technologies. In my past life, I was Yasuke, the Black
EMPs.
Samurai.
Did any of your clones ever get changed into a zombie?
I had
What?
I had a clone.
What?
That clone actually was fighting zombies and vampires, and there was also Yetis that they were fighting.
What about vampires? Scenarios fighting vampires.
But this particular thing, this is something I learned about vampires actually, is that they can't help but count. From what I remember, most clonely is that I do have many different clones of myself with parts of my consciousness uploaded into those clones. I was taken, I was cloned, and my clones with my consciousness inside of them were used pretty much as like kamikaze pilots.
Typically, at least what I heard, black people require a different protocol of brainwashing.
Time flew by, and I was struck by the
He's like
effortlessness of retelling the story
flabbergasted.
which I crafted. I spoke for 1 hour with ease and told my story so coherently that I realized that if I was to continue to pursue a career as an influencer in the SSP community, I'd be able to become a prominent whistleblower. I could do workshops, sell books, charge for hypnosis sessions, be invited onto shows, and attend conferences as a speaker, just like the top members of the community. I would be able to mold a career out of it, which likely could be far more profitable than spending months making YouTube documentaries and releasing them only a few times a year. When I first became
So, I'm
interested
gonna do
in the
that now.
community
See you
and its
later.
major players, I wondered how these people could regurgitate their own bullshit with such ease, as if their lies didn't affect them at all. Were they deluded, or were they capitalizing on feeding lies to a fantasy-prone audience? And when I was being interviewed by James, I finally understood it. What you believe becomes your own reality, no matter how ridiculous it is.
Insane.
Spewing the nonsense story I crafted was like an out-of-body experience. I was playing a role, and even though I created the role, while I was performing it, it was like a switch in my brain went off and everything I said felt real. For that moment, I managed to delude myself and speak matter-of-factly about being trained by Kevin Spacey's clone along with Mr. Beast. I never broke character. I never felt like laughing or winking at the camera. I spoke stone-faced with deadly seriousness the whole time. It was so easy to detach myself from the situation.
I
and
would
make it
kind of
feel
be
real.
worried about these
Overall,
people,
this whole
though.
journey
Like, if you did
has
that,
been
if they
a
got mad at you,
fascinating
I don't know, man.
I now feel as though many of the questions I had about charlatans, grifters, con men, and even cult leaders, it's starting to make more sense. By stepping into their shoes, I feel like I gained insight into how they operate and what makes them tick. Like I said, if I wanted to, I could have continued to masquerade as a secret space program whistleblower.
I mean, yeah,
and
they're
turn
just
my
lying, but I'm
lies into
still like,
something truly profitable. Of course, I have no interest in doing so.
I don't know. It's fucking great. That's a great video. Oops, there's more.
And
Oh, they put the video up.
father, they put in my mother, and they were keeping tabs on me. And by the time I was 6, I was put into a special program run by Monarch. The leader of Monarch, Paul Serene, also known as Kevin Spacey's clone. So on December 28th, 2021, James finally uploaded the interview we did in Las Vegas onto his YouTube channel. As I record this, the video is sitting around 13,000 views. The response from his community has been overwhelmingly positive. People left comments that indicate that they completely believed me. A couple people said that I was the best whistleblower testimony that they've heard on James's channel so far. And one person even said that they cried the whole way through the video. So that's that. I made up a story and officially got into James's channel. I can now officially call myself a secret space program whistleblower, an elite among elites, a space samurai, MK Ultra victim who was trained by Kevin Spacey's clone to become a killing machine. If you want to watch the full interview I had with Jay as well as our hypnosis session, please subscribe to my Patreon. Otherwise, follow me on social media. I have Twitter.
Yeah, check out Oki's channel.
Instagram, and a subreddit. All links could be
Here's a link to the
found in
video. It's
description
very
box
good.
below. And as always, until next time.
That's all you need to know now.
I wonder what are like some of his other like similar videos. That are like not too crazy. Yo, Fo Daddy, thank you for gifting a sub. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Also, Macchino. Is this fish video you're talking about? What is this?
Hey everyone, Patrick from the Monterey Bay.
Top 10 deep sea animals. I gotta go to the bathroom real quick, and then we're gonna watch this after. I gotta go. I'll be right back. Drink too much coffee. 1 second, guys. All right. Sorry about that. Oh, this guy's from the Monterey Bay Aquarium. I've been there. I like that place. All right, let's check this video out. Thank you for the gift
Aquarium
subs.
here.
Appreciate
Our
that.
colleagues at Mbari are always finding amazing wildlife in the deep sea. And everything they show us at the aquarium
Hell
is
yeah.
the coolest thing that we've ever seen. But we've always wondered, what are their favorites? So here they are. These are Mbari's top 10 deep sea animals.
Comp worm.
I have spent my entire career trying to get people excited about worms because most of the time when people think about worms, they
Get
think
excited about
earthworms,
worms.
and they're not that fun to look at. Tomopterous worms, they do this amazing undulating dance in order to swim around and feed.
The animal is able to
What do you think it would
swim
taste
really
like, though?
rapidly, maneuver very tight turns, and it can stop on a dime by arresting the motion of all of its
Kinda looks like
legs, and then reverse
a water leaf.
direction without
Yo,
changing
Hellfire.
the
Thank you for
direction of
gifting
its
us sub
body.
to Major.
Pretty incredible what these small animals are able to do.
It's nice of you, dude. Appreciate
and
that.
No robotic system has been able to replicate it. So they're something we're definitely interested in trying to reverse engineer.
Have you eaten jellyfish? No. That's what I mean. I'm curious. I assume they taste like jelly.
Crassoda millseye, when you first look at it, it looks like fireworks are going off in the
These guys are
evening
wild.
sky. It is just a gorgeous animal. It's got tentacles that go off in every direction, and then if you disturb it a little bit, it pulls everything in and jets off in a different direction, and it's like it wasn't even there.
It's an animal we see every once in a while. It's not very common. It's a beautiful, tiny little jelly. These rare gems, we get really excited when we see them.
Rare jelly.
The Pacific viperfish is a great example of many things we notice about deep sea fish. It has long, sharp teeth.
It makes them look fierce, and I think the result is that they are fierce, at least to their prey.
Why is Bruce familiar? The guy looks familiar.
Are so large and they sit outside of its mouth that it can't actually close its mouth.
These giant teeth are not actually impaling anything. The teeth act like bars on a jail cell to keep the food. Say a shrimp.
Just like goes into his
back
eye.
out of the mouth.
These fucking cuttlefish. No. Strawberry squid.
One of the other types of animals we find in the deep sea is this beautiful squid. And we've given it the name the strawberry squid because when you look at it from the side, it has all these little dots that make it sort of look like a strawberry. It has one big eye and one small eye.
It has one really big
That's kind of fucking weird.
in order to see the shadows or silhouettes of potential prey against the lighted waters above. Its other eye is small, and it's designed to see pinpoints of bioluminescence. It's bizarre to us because they seem ill-suited to survival in our world, but in the deep sea, they're perfectly well adapted.
Yeah, it is. Looks like a ball.
Feather stars are these animals
On
that
the
are
ground, that
related
doesn't look weird, but like floating around
live
in the
on the
water, that looks kind of
seafloor.
cool.
They look like a flower
Looks like a
that
plant.
can't move, but then all of a sudden they'll swim off into
That is kind of cool.
I love seeing things swim. And to me, the feather star and the
Like, that looks like a Final
waves, it's almost
Fantasy
like they're
monster.
walking through water. It's pretty incredible to watch.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Oh, Phronema.
Yeah, if you
They
just
look
like
like
touch that with your
nightmares, but
feet,
they're really
the ocean, fuck that, man.
Phronema is this amphipod, which is basically like a little shrimp-like animal. And they take another animal, like a salp, they go inside, kill it, eat out the insides, and then lay their eggs in the dead carcass of this animal. It's like the creepiest thing ever.
Why?
She's got these big eyes and these big claws, and she looks really scary if she wasn't only you know, an inch long.
What the fuck?
Pompeii worms are one of the most thermotolerant animals.
Oh, it's
in
on the
world.
heat vents.
These crazy little fuzzy wuzzy worms live on hydrothermal vents. It's essentially an underwater volcano with piping hot water coming out of it.
The temperatures can get 200 degrees Celsius. We're talking hot. And the Pompeii worm seems to thrive in these temperatures.
How they do
Yeah,
this
it's kind of
is
like an
they
alien.
have a fleece-like coating of bacteria that helps protect them from some of the hottest water that comes out of the vents so that they can extract minerals from the vents. And then they extend their gills out into much cooler water, which is how they breathe and extract oxygen out of the water. They do this little dance in between the cooler water and the hotter water, in and out of their tubes. So they're like hot, 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 cool, cool, cool.
Fuck. I think it's sick.
Bloody belly comb jelly is one of my personal favorites, and I have to admit I'm a little
Bloody
bit biased
belly
because
comb
I was
jelly.
fortunate enough to be one of the researchers who described this beautiful animal.
Most animals
What
in
the
the deep
fuck?
sea can't see the color red.
RGB jelly.
In order to hide really well, the bloody bellies are this beautiful bright red color.
I think they look like hearts. That's
Thanks,
nerdy.
lady.
They do. The bloody belly comb jelly has these 8 rows called teen rows, and that's how the animal moves around. The light flickering that you see is light bouncing off
The
of
president
little
of Razor got
hair-like
saved by one of these guys
on the body
in a
of
deep sea scuba diving accident.
The light into the colors
And
of
they
the
brought him
rainbow.
to surface,
So
and
it
then
looks like the
he
most
became a
beautiful
changed
animal
man.
with 8 rows of rainbows moving through the water.
Changes the entire gaming scene. I've seen these before.
Vampire squid is an animal that's captured people's imagination for years. Vampiroteuthis infernalis, the vampire squid from the depths, or the inferno.
For the longest time, we weren't sure what vampire squid actually ate.
I mean, it sounds like kind of a blood sucker, right?
The vampire squid doesn't suck blood. The vampire squid likes to eat poop raining down from the surface. This is how it gets its food.
They stick out this feeding tentacle that captures sinking dead
Kind of makes you
animals
think about
waste that's
what
raining
vampires
down
in real life eat.
It's gross.
Huh?
The filaments are sticky. They're
Make
kind
you
of
think
like
about that.
off of a Velcro strip. The vampires drag this filament behind them, collect all kinds of bits and pieces of drifting matter. That's a unique
Yeah, it
feeding
says something
mode that
about
we don't
society,
see in
doesn't it?
Any other cephalopods.
Why did this animal get its name vampire squid? We're not actually really sure. It's not nearly as scary as it sounds.
Maybe because
The
people
vampire
are
squid's a
poop.
cool name.
Probably the most common question I get is, what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen in the deep sea? And I really have to say the barrel eye, because there is no example of a fish that looks like that.
The barrel eye is an amazing fish. When we
Yeah, these
first
things
came
are
across
scary.
one alive in its natural habitat, we were really surprised.
The animal's eyes,
I think it's scary.
are looking forward. Those
Looks
little black
sad.
dots. But in actuality, the green orbs that are pointed upwards are its eyes. It's covered in this gelatinous sheath, which is completely transparent.
They have this tiny little poochy mouth sticking out in front, and the eyes were looking up. There was no way that the fish could see what it was eating, which always bothered me. What's the point? How does this work?
Our scientists discovered that the eyes can rotate so that it can keep its eye on the prey above it and just rotate and grab the food.
Monterey Bay.
Its mouth is
the
way
best
too much like a
studied
person's.
patch of deep ocean on the planet, and yet we're still finding new things every time we go out. It's exciting to think that there's that much more to be discovered in the rest of the world ocean.
Pretty crazy. All right. I did have another video I wanted to watch, but yeah, it looks like a weird dolphin. Some kind of weird dolphin. Maybe not. All right. Did we watch this one? Boom. I don't think he's put out any videos that are like shorter than like 50 minutes recently. I'll check after this though. There's no sound.
Every year, 19
What the
people
fuck?
go overboard while on a cruise ship or ferry.
Ferries.
Since 2000, roughly 300 people have gone overboard, and multiple deaths have been attributed to these incidents.
Yeah, I thought there was no sound. Like
being at sea,
thumb
often
sound
for
in the background.
days and weeks at a time, it is not unheard of for cruise passengers to fall victim to the endless ocean beneath their feet. So when James Christopher Scavone disappeared without a trace aboard Carnival Cruise Line's Destiny in 1999, initial speculation was that he had sadly fallen and gotten lost at sea. Traveling with his best friend Jeff and 12 members of Jeff's family, Scavone joined his friends and the family to dinner one night before visiting the casino and dancing at the Point After Disco Club. Hours later, at around 12:30 in the morning on July 5th, Jim excused himself from the scene, telling his friends that he felt ill. That was the last time anybody would see Scavone.
Cabone?
When the group returned to the cabin later that night, at around 3 a.m., with no signs of their friend, since he politely departed hours before, they assumed he had met someone and expected to see him in the morning. 7 hours later, after an attempt to contact Scavone via intercom, a manhunt began that included a room-by-room search on the boat.
Yeah, this guy,
waters by the US Coast
it's actually going to be on Adult Swim, some of these cartoons.
Investigators initially believed that Scavone's best friend was involved in his disappearance and proceeded to question him for hours before he was eventually ruled out as a suspect. Weeks later,
Yeah, I think I saw it
James
already, actually, one time.
asked for the itemized bill of her son's sale card. It revealed no activity from the 22-year-old, proving that he had not re-entered his room or bought anything after going off on his own at 12:30.
What happened to where he pushed down? There's just
With
like all
no
weird.
body or evidence of foul play, it appears to be a simple and tragic case of a man falling overboard. But 7 years after the disappearance, after
Kinda makes you
airing
think.
of the story on primetime, a witness stepped forward with a lead that suggested there was to be more to the tragedy than initially believed.
Kind of makes you fucking think.
After viewing James's case on TV, she claimed to be a passenger of the ship at the time of James's disappearance.
I thought that was going to be a
Instead,
ship.
she
It was just like a graphic element.
She told a bizarre story of a phone call she received on the morning of July 5th. A young man's voice on the other end of the line saying, "Help me, I can't get out of here," followed by a scream, scuffling, and what she described as furniture being moved around the room. The following comes directly from a message posted by the family years ago on the International Cruise Victims website. It's about the woman and some of the details she shared with them about the case. Make it as you will. She told us that later in the week, she asked about my son, and the ship told her that he had
This is in 1999 too, which is
and his fiancée had
not
broken
sure.
up with him. They said he was despondent and probably committed suicide. This is a total fabrication. She contacted Carnival Cruises' corporate offices after the trip in the hopes of being able to contact us. Carnival Cruise told her they had no record of anyone disappearing from the Destiny on July 5th, 1999. Whether or not the claim made by the woman is fact, fiction, or
I saw one of those big FBI vans,
that has not yet
like driving down the highway the other day.
The woman was interviewed by both the FBI and the ship authorities, who still have not come to a
Like, I didn't think they actually just put that on the side of the van, but it's true.
Even as many stick with the claim that he had an accident, many questions have surfaced regarding the details of the incident. Does James feeling sick prior to his departure from the group have anything to do with his disappearance? How come no sightings of James were reported after he split off from his friends? Where did he go? Did he make it to the bathroom?
Or did he
What do we
become the
make of
door?
the oddly specific story from the woman about the phone call? If true, what could it mean about the case? If false, why make something up like that? No updates to the case have been posted in some time, and foul play has not been officially suspected by police. But without remains, a bizarre yet unconfirmed story contradicting the leading theory, and a cruise company that may not have been fully cooperative throughout the investigation, there's just really no way of knowing what truly happened that night. While
What
officially
really
closed
happened
back
that night?
in August of 2000, the case remains unsolved to this day and is still used as an example to emphasize cruise safety and cruise liner accountability all over the world.
And who came back? Yo, Faux Daddy.
No matter what happened,
Yeah, we're gifting another sub.
or other victims who have vanished at sea,
We're gifting a sub to the
it
lad.
remains evident that the ocean is a vast and dangerous place. Hopefully, the family was able to find at least some closure in the aftermath of an unimaginable situation.
But then,
Thank you for watching. I know this is quite different from my other previous animated videos. This is more factual and educational. I just wanted to try some new things out. I also want to give a thanks to a non-NAM for allowing me to make this video. So, with
did they know more about the story? Let's check out Outdoor Shalong. It's been a minute. Yeah. I wish he had like a nice top 10 video or something. The Haunted Villa. This could be cool.
The first work in Erding. I wish you all good luck.
I wish you all good luck.
Good health and abundant financial resources in in the new year.
Oh,
I
thanks,
will
man.
continue to bring more
Abundant
exciting
financial
videos
resources?
to my friends who like me. Thank you for your company and support all the way.
That'd be good.
Today's video location, Liaoning Shenyang suburb. This is a private villa. The owner of this
It
villa
actually
is a
says
young
where they are.
hostess. As a man's mistress, received the favor of the male host. She likes small animals very much and keeps a pet cat. One day, the pet cat ran out to play and clicked into a river at the door. In order to save
What?
it, the woman jumped into the river. When the man saw it, he jumped in to save his mistress. But neither of them could swim, so they both drowned in the river in front of the door.
Stupid cat got them both killed. This glass is leaking. As it do. A thief. A thief was there. Better be careful. Is that big spoon floating? That big spoon is floating. Ouch me.
那他妈是2014年12月份，现在他妈是2021年
，2014，
隔4年了是吧？隔3
4
年
years, 3 years apart, bro.
有事没？
没有。
那一瞅都荒废好长时间了。
这地方不咋的高端的地方，厨房那么大点。
So when did the people run into the river in like 2014?
哦，真进来了。有人吗？哎，先看看有电没？
刚才我试了。
They get like custom coats that have like their names on them.
你看看，你看看，你看看，你看，
哦，
你进去看看，看。
你搁垃圾不倒吧？有人吗里头？有人吗？没有啊！
操你妈的，完了！但是进来都出声了，你看这里面啥呢？
哎呦我操！
哭泣，
进来都哭泣啊！还有双哭泣鞋，
干啥呢？我看，我滚你妈的！这他妈是哭泣呀！这他妈是军钩子！这是我漏雨呀！
没听到哪个声，我来去看看。
操！
外头的是。
The design of this house is so weird. What the hell?
进来了啊！
没毛病吧？哎呦我操！关公，哎呦我的妈呀，兄弟们，这地方，哎呀，哎呀个鸡巴，哎呀，你说呀，咋的了？我有种不祥的感觉。这个好啊！哎呦我操！哎，这不是正门吗？哎呦我操！你操个鸡！对不起啊，关公，他傻逼！你操啥呀？吓回了！哎呦我操！
Ouch, I.
啥玩意儿呢？
也是新的。
啊！假装打个电话是下播吧。
什么？
看前门能打开不？锁着呢。
哎呦我操！茅台。
哪呢？
茅台。
哪呢？
茅台嘛。
Yeah, look at all this stuff.
搁哪有茅台？
我操 ！But it's cool. It's like a kind of different video than
我是脑
usual.
瓜头发的。
你能不能不鸡巴那啥呀？一惊一乍的。搁哪有茅台呀？哎呦我操！起来，靠边！起来！
你看这不茅台，这茅台吗？有
带球的，空的，这他妈是平的。空的。1987年，43度，龙香型。我的妈逼！36000。哦，这里太牛逼了。
Is it abandoned? Yeah.
我操，这个是吉他吗？
这不能补我的乐器吗？
吉他。
这吉他一般拉环的哪呀？
我不知道，我没玩过这玩意儿呢。哎呦我去了，还竟然有吉他！
The guitar.
听个桥边老娘们儿。
Just a little guitar.
桥边。
Yo, Faux Daddy. Another 5 gift subs, my dude. Thank you so much, man.
我心里他妈
Very
会
generous of you.
傻逼！我操，这俩上楼！
哎呦，扶手玉。啊！
你上。
Look at those stairs. Like so weird looking. What a weird color.
有声。我操你妈！这不又到家了，怎的
？Running home.
你干他妈鸡巴呢！他妈关二爷给了你，怕啥的？
放屁，万一就有人呢？
你有人咋的？有人他妈这声他都不出来呀？那聋着？你等一会儿，有人没？我问你有人没？
Yeah, throw those heralds in chat. Welcome to the Herald Army. You can march those heralds. Occupy any country you want.
有人吗？上！ 谁呀？咋第一伙进来，咱第二伙人呢？
Fucking floors are there? Don't just
跟电话
glass.
电动震动似的啊。嗯。我害怕了。怎么了？哎呦我操你妈！兄弟们，我听着声了。
My brothers, I hear voices.
有人给里头哭。
Someone was crying.
刚才你们听着没戴耳机？真的。你们细听下来，肯定有，肯定有。怎么了？我操你妈！白眼从哪儿啊？我操你妈！你是吓死！你看着啥没？没有啊。我操！妈呀！这好像是病人的房间。
Patient's room?
操！你会发现这里边这么死凉的吗？我他妈穿鞋都感觉可凉的了。这屋里边阴凉的。你看他这个窗帘没？他这都进不来光。你啥丢了？你别翻了，行吗，大哥？你他妈，我真烦你这个逼样！你他妈老到人那屋里瞎翻个鸡巴，啥是你的？你翻呢？你翻这好东西，你不拿走，你闹心；拿走，你还他妈的犯罪。
我万一这里头有鬼呢？
你家鬼猫他妈茶盒里头啊？
那不咋的，我细节一定要掌握。
傻逼是老鸡巴翻东西，真鸡巴烦人！别老翻东西啊！
Don't keep going through
太
things.
闲了，对不起啊，这里边女主人，头回来到你们这么好的地方，有点禁不住诱惑了，对不起啊。
Are they just RPing right now?
是
What the fuck is that? Yeah, it's weird that all this stuff is just here. It's been abandoned.
后面啥呀？
Look at those fucking chairs.
我操你妈！又跑了，你妈的！操你！你好像是个傻逼，你。
My God.
我操你妈，像门似的。
这人真他妈有病。
真牛逼，俩坐便。
Oh, it's a bathtub. Like a hot tub.
那都是一个
What?
大
That
人
shit
的，
is
一个
sick.
孩子的。
What the fuck is that toilet? What is that material?
你他妈有钱那个色儿咋能鸡巴挑这色儿？
Yeah, that color is so
真的，
weird.
有钱人一个屋里边搁俩坐便，真牛逼。傻逼，不爱跟你犟，没文化。哎，但是我发现一个就是通病啊，就是有钱人怎么都喜欢这种东西呢？这颜色的呢，像鸡粑粑色儿似的。
Like the color of chicken.
像阿尔卑斯糖。
阿尔卑斯。
塑料的假土豪。
Fake local tyrant. What?
这地方不爱的买瑞行的。咱们给这不爱的买一会儿啊，兄弟们。
Bloody Mary.
咱不爱的买回去行不行？
这不是这家人中午，人家中午一个连窗帘没有，那这俩拉屎的，这俩都撅着，你都看到。
告诉你，这就是有钱人的世界，咱们不懂。
过节的地方。
这大别墅太牛逼了。
我操，这个是鸡巴那个劳莱斯劳的雨伞吗
Rolls Royce an umbrella for Rolls Royce? What?
真的就是开劳斯莱斯，
真的。
里边那个雨伞。
他妈这床单瞅不咋的值钱，这我住他妈40块钱旅店都这床单。
床头放玉，哎，没了这，哎，他这个门上都挂这个东西是吗？
挂个红眼毛线干啥的？
辟邪的吗？
你啥都辟邪，人家不兴说的吉祥如意啥的，你啥都做辟邪。
你瞎呀！这他妈，你看这是啥没呀？
这福钱是代表有福吗？
你知道个鸡巴呀？
对你一直播，你不管这地方咋的，这是啥？哎，中间有八卦，桃木啊。
Beechwood，
这个真是辟邪的。
对，啥你都辟邪，你都吓唬人，你都行能耐。
我告诉你，兄弟们，这个地方是啥地方啊？它是一个个家，你再给它翻译一下子，
自己家。
对，有人说这个是哪里呀？我告诉你，它是哪里。现在我们在温哥华。
Now we're in Vancouver? What?
温哥华哪个省的？
Oh, they're not even in China. They're in Vancouver right now. In fucking.
温哥华是哪来的？
我操！
我感觉这里是应该是住着很多的富二代。
我真太鸡巴，太吓人了这里头。不是别的，这里边太豪华了，有点儿。
这他妈的全是立立正正的。这是会议室。
哎，你没发现吗？它的窗帘全挡上了。
他说这种的空气的别野，这墙有的空，里头放好几亿。
你《人民名义》看多了吧？
我操，空的。这里有钱。
去你妈逼！我操！
我操他妈！楼上还有楼上的。
我操！哎。
What the fuck?
观音菩萨
That's like incense.
这都好久了，人家瞅着，这都香火都断了好久了都。金得信诚，诚信得金。说这是真的。哎，
操你妈！吃香棍。
正经的。真假的
？What？
我操！
购买证吗？
这咋还有这东西啊？哎呦我操！这啥人才能整这玩意儿啊？
A purchase certificate for what?
我头回见过这东西。
谁是会老大住着这个
The residence of the underworld boss?
应该是。太牛逼了
The fuck is that? What does it mean?
我操！
那话咱俩是愿意灭口的。
这不让人灭口了不点儿啊？那还有一个真的动物标本。
我操，这是保护动物了吧？
嗯。
操他妈，这俩贵姓就关着哟。
像。我操！我现在心里头这突然间我都不得劲了，不得意了。这肯定也是个很牛逼背景的人呐。啥玩意儿这是？
鬼蛾是吧？
滚他妈犊子！啥玩意儿？佛。
这是那啥呀？
我操！法门寺。法门寺的佛教珍宝。哎呦我！哎呦我！
Yeah, nothing spooky has really happened yet.
我不想看了。
舍利，
我去个鸡巴！哎，这不行不行不行，舍利子啊！我操，这舍利子，兄弟们，金佛舍利，
这舍利不他妈值100多万呢。
大哥，这玩意儿无价，法门寺的东西，快点给它盖上吧。这个东西无价，看这是啥没？佛骨舍利。
Buddha bone relic?
不是，别瞎鸡巴说。快搁上，快上。金佛里边是一个金佛。
对不起啊，
兄弟们，我不能给你们拍了，这个地方太那啥了。
3楼走完走啊。
哎，听着。
Just a chair.
哎呀，人爆炸了！下，
No big deal.
下雨没外边？关上门。操，这不对呀！
进来的话，外面有水，没有酒味儿，那看这锅怎么样？啥时候？
老大声了。
是这道吗？
Are those fire extinguishers?
没有动静啊，啥鸡巴声？听着没？我听着了，啤酒瓶声。
It looks like the ceiling is like collapsing.是里头吧？那俩是玻璃吗？咱看里头吗？ The fuck is that door? The hell's that?
有人吗？
This is it.
妈的，一场灰。打不开的，往里丢着。
有人吗？有人吗？哎，我操！你有瓶子！
哎，不对劲。哎，我操！哎，我操你妈！哎，不对劲！哎，我操，那屁股屏上动了，动了！谁呀？操你妈！谁在里头呢？出来！谁呀？我操你妈的！有人吗？不对劲儿，这里头。
Something's wrong here.
进！嗯，你们看到这个没？没有人。就这个东西，兄弟们。
It's like their own like fucking club in their house.
我去你妈的！这个，就这个啤酒瓶子。操你妈！出来！你卡门！你看有脚印没？上面有猫啥、狗啥脚印没？有这印没有别的印儿。啊？他妈的，他咋动的？我操！有走道声。
Yeah, I bet a lot of cigarettes got smoked in there.
哪的声？嘘。没有漏水的地方啊。看一看有水没呢？哪边？没有。这刚才是耗子。出！对，不在这屋待，不。我操你妈憋的，说实话。你有啥冤屈吗？是你出来的？你不是说耗子吗？这屋里现起雾了似的。我操你妈的！这屋他妈的不对劲儿！你这整一声，我妈的，我他妈害怕了。关键他这，你说他耗子吧，他妈一直都，你说
他
爹有脚印儿啊？不是耗子，他一声两声。
It's normal for a mouse.
好多声，你知道吗？这个
Now there are many voices.
你把门关上，你进里头，你待会儿。我不待。你看看跟鬼在一起，你看啥感觉？你门关上，关严。然后你啥感觉？你告诉我一声啊。我。 哎我过来！我咋的了？我别你们吓我！你们没看到这个吗？这个咋的了？门框掉了？你们没看着吗？啥呀？这门刚才关上，我他妈跑过来的。别鸡巴白我！你看屏幕。这玩意儿，我是真的假的？真的，我见你这是干啥？我要我吓唬你干啥呀？
What are they saying? It like moved around.
刚刚确实有黑影，他说还有黑影。
They really went off there. Really went off. There's actually another part about it.
这玩意儿，看着我这个东西。我操！啊！我操！我的妈的！哎！我操！这厕所有东西。
There's something in this toilet.
我操！塞在里头的。你别猫起来！我操！我胸口疼。你出来！你妈的！看到这个玩意儿了吗？看到这个后门。我操！我底下有人啊！这。啊！妈！我去你妈！不要这样进去！粉色小东西！我操！啥呀？我厕所里面叫啥玩意儿呢？叫啥东西呢？你没看着？你没看着？啥呀？这玩意儿！我操！我操！我的妈的！我操！这厕所有东西！我操！塞在里头的！你别猫起来！我操！我胸口疼！你出来！你妈的！看到这个玩意儿了吗？看到这个后门。我操！我底下有人啊！这。啊！
I love that arrow. It's like a traffic arrow. Yeah, they're screaming at the arrow itself.
你给我卡门！你给我卡门！我操！是不是有人啊？给我卡门！你看床底下还有吗？操你妈！我进去我把你打死！哎呦我！有东西吗？操你妈的！我操你妈的！我打死你们！我操你妈的！
Racing game arrow.
干鸡巴！你说话呢？你怎么老听着说话声呢？操你妈！我又听着说话声了。是啥声儿？写曲的还鸡巴笑呢！哎！哎！操我！老哥，待会儿！我操！咱俩赶紧撤吧，行，不行了。我不行，我一身全汗了，全都出汗了。我操！我麻了，手都麻了。我不知道你到底是躲我还是吓我。你怎么进去了？你有冤情你说。跟着我。去你妈的！操！我的妈！离这里还有这大。都是从哪的？都是从哪的？你吓不着我，你吓不着我。你把我袜子你妈那马桶盖他妈的刮龙卷风他妈能卷起来了。都是吓唬我的。咋的了？跟他们那
A tornado's gonna roll up.
还有个马桶，看看啥？ 那有俩暗门，你进去这回。不是，你进，我可不去，快进。把门，把上。你看那俩暗门里头，快，可是不是窗户开了？窗户没开。我这屋有啥？这没有的。瞅。哎，这底下还有双小白鞋呢。你看看床底，给我看门。这是男的，那是女的，他俩分家了，男的一个屋，女的一个屋。我感觉那也不吓人，真的。我操你妈，头皮都麻了。撤吧，这是太鸡巴呆呀！撤，这走吧。哪个灯亮了？热水器。还鸡巴早！哎！我你妈到点儿了，打铃了。哪个吊灯啊？我这感觉像敲佛的声呢。是不是闹钟啊？
He said he's knocking on the Buddha.
他那个柜那俩是不是那俩猫人呢？好像是这个吊灯。
You hear it?
我操！
Knock, knock, knocking on Buddha's door.
你还要怎的呀？你别他妈冤魂不太行吗？
No, they know the owner. They let them in. It's abandoned.
干啥呢？可找吊灯，凤铃。
Apparently, it's in Canada too.
我操！真的，吊灯吊在床上了，搁哪儿呢？在床上，沙发上。哎，我操！哎，还有个晒！这呢？操你妈！这呢？ 就这一个吊灯。
They think it's haunted.
这他妈
They're
像
leaving
吃
it
饭
all
似
alone.
的，整整齐齐的呢。我操！你扒
They're
拉
gonna
一下
get you.
啊！你扒拉一下。
They're gonna get you.
不是这声啊，哎是。
Knock, knock, knocking on.
我刚才也没鸡巴动啊！哎，我操！还鸡巴啥哪的声啊？哪的声？操你妈！啊！这是不像这边的。不对呀！我操！没了！有人吗？嗯。哎！啊！操你妈！
Oh, those start beats, you mean? It's only for a second, though.
操你妈！等着！哎！我让等着东西们揍回去了！把来呀！把来呀！啊！我操！去你妈逼！是这声，是这声，这吧台不对劲儿。真撤吧！啊！
啊！
谁呀？你看这个秤上有屁股印儿没？你看看，都忒齐整了。啊！我操！哎！我操！我这个声，这个！我去你妈逼的！我听这个声，我操！我操你妈！
这个，
我去你妈逼的！我听这个声，我操！我操你妈！我去你！看着这个吗？背声，这上面都剁了。哎，这上面都剁了。操！里头，你看看里头有人没？哎呦，操你妈！还是他？有人没？没有！我操，还是他！我操你妈！你妈逼的，里头没有人啊！还是他！高脚杯，高脚杯，高脚杯！谁？这个不动了，不跟，但是刚才是跟那声儿也像。我操你妈！走吧，走出去，出！哎！我操！我滚你妈的！你哎！我操！我操你妈！谁把门关上了
？Close the door.
谁呀？有人出来呀！
我操！我太累了。
哎呀，我现在喘不来气了。
操你妈的！
咋整，龙啊？啊！啥声啊
？Oh my god！
你在哪呢？
你献个神呗，感谢神吗？咣当一声，咣当一声，
到底里头有谁呀？谁？
有人吗？他们说是餐桌。
Fucking hallway is insane.
进来！这有说话声，我操！我一直听到说话声。
Completely full of mirrors.
小一点。
谁呀？我在里头呢！谁要红啊？
This fucking music. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. So they had to run away? It was like the end of a food show. They got away though. The plan.
Joe was a therapist.
Just cuts
saw
off.
lots of different patients
Oh,
with
God.
different problems.
He was a therapist.
But little did he know that one of his patients would create a huge problem for him. Joe was having an affair with a lady called Lucy, but unluckily for Joe, one of his patients, Tom, spotted them kissing on the street one night. Joe was kicking himself how stupid he was, but his patient Tom would not give up on it. He knew he would not give up. Ever.
He would never give up.
Got what he wanted.
Never surrender.
He knew that was his MO. Joe worried about it a lot, until one session Joe had a plan. Tom had threatened Joe he would tell his wife about the affair, and Joe knew he wasn't kidding. But Joe came up with a plan that he knew would work. Joe said to Tom, "Okay, Tom, I know that I've been sitting here telling you for months about you having to control your urges, and I know that you have some
Control
crazy
your
fantasies that would get most people locked up in prison. But I have an idea for you. I created a plan that you could live out one of your fantasies that you were always talking about. This fantasy, Tom, is what I'm talking about. This fantasy would get you locked up, and I mean locked up for a very long time.
What the fuck?
But what I'm getting at, Tom, is I can make this happen for you. I can make this fantasy become a reality.
What
with
is the
no
fantasy?
repercussions." Tom gave Joe a curious look, wondering what he was about to say. Then he said, "What is this plan of yours, may I ask?" Joe took a breath and said, "Okay, well, I never gave into one of my wife's fantasies. For the simple fact, I know this might sound hypocritical when I'm a cheater myself, but I would never want my wife to sleep with another man.
Dude, what the fuck?
It is one of her fantasies to a stranger walk into her bedroom in the middle of the night and have sex with her."
It's just a fucking assassin rapper. You've gone too far. It's just smut, man. You've gone too far. Joe, I want to know if you'll come fuck my wife.
Hello, my
Like,
name
why would
is
that? Why would
Jason.
you proposition them with
Tonight
that?
my life changed. I could sense something was wrong. I knew it was. From the
He's
smell
posted
of
another
danger
wrong
that
account.
was in the air. I knew there were people in my house. I could feel their presence. I tried to stay calm and relax, as if nothing was wrong, but I knew that I was in danger. I knew any moment that there would be a knock on my door. I couldn't hear speaking. I couldn't even hear breathing except my own, but I knew there were people in my house, and that those people would bring me so much trouble, so much pain. Suppose I could leave now, just walk out that door, or run out that door. But wait, I hear something. Then I heard a knock on the door.
But he's like
There
song
is no
lyrics?
point in hiding from what is out to get me. I opened the door and saw a policeman. I was relieved.
Nah,
Then
I haven't tried the
pulled
new
out
7
my
days
gun
update.
and shot the
Probably a couple
policeman,
weeks or something.
Relieved that at least now I know.
Still pretty
I have a
obsessed
head
with the new
start
Zomboid
to
update.
leave this damn place. I got into my car and drove, knowing I have to change my identity again. Those people I've shot in the head in my home would bring me so much trouble. I know they would. It's a shame I have to do it all again, somewhere else, make friends, throw a party, and kill them all. The rush. Oh, the rush of killing them. Nothing compares to it. But why do the damn police have to always ruin me trying to enjoy my hobby?
Jeez, it's the fuzz. Good thing he's got rockets in his car.
Thanks for watching the Assassin Rapper, and if you...
He's gone too far. You can't even suspend your disbelief anymore. What is he doing? I think it looks okay. I mean, it's always kind of looked not
For a
great,
while
but
now, I've been hearing
they just
about
are
a phenomenon
going for the boomer shooter
known
thing.
as shadow
It
people.
works now.
These are ghosts or visual illusions, I guess.
He's just becoming more horseshit than
Around
Slaptail.
rooms and houses, black in their appearance, of course, causing fear and paranoia. Perhaps it's when you're sitting at home late at night with the lights dim. You look to the corner and notice something moving, something unnatural. You see the outline of a figure,
What?
some kind of shape moving across
Street light in your bedroom?
Or it's something much more sinister. It's not like a phantom spirit.
Yeah, 7 days is definitely not
dancing about
like a pretty
when
game.
the light is good for reflection.
Definitely.
Instead, these creatures are insidious and even evil. They plot games to torment you, to trick you, to harm you. The shadow figures appear in your bedroom at night, watching, listening, even speaking. They cause doors to open and items to break. They creak your floors and cause chills down your spine. I've heard all of this and more, and I didn't know what to believe. This, of course, was until I saw them. Now, I'm a believer. I live in an older house. Naturally, it seems this is
What?
where most of our haunting interactions
Now I'm a
take
believer.
place. Maybe you believe in ghosts. Some say ghosts are spirits
Now
left
I'm a
behind.
believer.
They're poor souls wandering the earth looking for something, anything to take hold of. I've never had much luck when it comes to ghosts. Possibly for me, I just wonder about the purpose of these creatures. Why would a spirit wander the earth, caught in limbo between this world and the next? The whole idea of ghosts just doesn't make much sense to me. And then there are those who discredit ghosts. Spirits aren't departed souls left behind. No, they are something more malignant. There are no ghosts, only demons.
Only demons.
Demons, by definition, are fallen angels. They are wretched, otherworldly creatures who prey upon the souls of the living.
It's not in his own
Their
style, though.
purpose is to maim, hurt, torture, possess, and kill.
It's a smooth looking demon.
Over the years, there's been a lot of writings about demons, especially with the evidence we have collected concerning exorcisms, and the church, and psychoanalysis.
This is an Adult Swim show.
Anyway, I mention
called,
all this because recently I've come in contact with
look at that
shadow
computer.
people, and I'm not sure my
Yeah, no, it's like a fucking
good. Like most paranormal
like security
things,
tower.
usually you're safer when you don't know they exist.
It's one of those
I have made the
Alienware
mistake to
laptops.
admit knowledge to them.
Wide display.
It all started a few weeks ago. At first, it was nothing major, really. Just a few bumps in the night, and what I believed were my eyes playing tricks on me. I woke suddenly after a deep sleep to a low but consistent thump coming from my living room. So I got up and carefully walked down my hallway. I peered into the room and saw splotches of darkness bouncing around. I made the mistake of raising my voice. I shouted, "Who's there?" Everything went quiet.
Who's there?
And that's when I saw the shadow person. It was a long silhouette, like a tall, slender man, and stood still by the door. I just looked at it, and I believed it looked at me. For a few solid seconds, I just stared the creature down, and it didn't move. Then, I ran towards it. I don't know what I was thinking other than maybe I could overpower the thing. It stepped back and I saw its full profile. My heart sank. The shadow person was tall and massive, bigger than I have ever
Tall
imagined.
and massive.
It sidestepped me and then disappeared. I turned on the lights and scoured the house, hoping to find it, hoping that my attempts might cause a reticent apparition. But I was not so lucky. That was 3
I always
days
think it's
ago.
about to end, but then it
Since
doesn't.
then, I've had numerous encounters with this shadow figure. I've seen it lurking behind me while I watch TV. I've noticed a dark splotch hovering closely when I do my writing on my
The truth behind knowledge. How do we
there
know
have even
we
been
know?
times when I've gone out into my garage and I thought I saw it in my car. Like it was beckoning me to get inside. But probably the strangest part of this phenomenon is that the shadow follows me outside of my house. I've read quite a bit about shadow people popping up in your house consistently, but very little about them following you. For example, the other day I was at my church. I volunteer there on the weekends and usually help out when they host late night events of different sorts.
Okay.
Anyway, I was there late at night cleaning up in our sanctuary. It was just me.
Late night events in the sanctuary.
I was supposed to put away
What kind of church
a
do you
few
go to,
chairs
Billy?
and then turn off the lights. Our sanctuary is like most older churches.
It's underground.
With massive pillars.
Massive pillars.
I finished my job.
A sacrificial
to turn off the lights,
chamber.
and that's when I saw it. Lined up on the far wall were shadow people. Not just the one that had been tailing me for a few days. No, it was an army of them. My heart
Army.
sank as I saw hands and arms and faces protruding all over the wall. In an instant, I was surrounded by them. Chills ran through my body.
Yeah, maybe don't
It felt like tiny bicycles were clasping around my throat and wrists. Everything in me went numb. I shouted and ran, but they chased after me. I started hearing voices too, coarse, scratchy, throat-like incantations that were swirling around me. I could only make a few words here and there, but the most consistent phrase I could detect was them saying, "Time's up, time's up." I don't know what I did to gather this kind of attention, but it's really starting to freak me out. Everywhere I go now, I see remnants of shadow people. They are on the streets I walk my dog down on. They appear at work, dancing across the walls. I'm feeling their presence more than ever before.
to do get lists. Get exercise.
I awake oftentimes at night and see several of them hovering over me. The whispers, they keep growing more consistent and louder. It feels like I'm losing my mind. I need help. Please, if anyone has any advice, please, please, please let me know.
Please, please, please. Damn. Got him. It was just like a little Tonberry guy from Final Fantasy. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there for now. Like I said, I'm going to be streaming early tomorrow, probably around like 1 or 2. I'm going to do some Zomboid. And then I'm doing that Dying Light